ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will survive.
Black people, unemployment it's Thrive Thursday, has skyrocketed it's only been 6 months. It is at the levels that they were at during the pandemic. 300,000 Black women have left the workplace, I don't think on their own volition. Drew McCaskill, what do we make? Because I think the fallout from this we won't feel for maybe another 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we're already going to start to see the fallout from it, Karen. I mean, we look at that 300,000 Black women who have left the labor force in just 90 days, right? And that's between February and May of 2025. But it's not a coincidence, right? It's the result of policy choices, if I'm honest. Like, you got to think about it like this. That number includes huge losses in the public sector. And we're talking about a 33% reduction in public sector work for Black women. And that's not just in DC, because people always think about, okay, well, federal work is DC, but federal work is also Atlanta and the Center for Disease Control. It's the IRS in Florida. It's the IRS in the Midwest, right? And so Black women's labor force participation is always high. Black women have one of the highest labor force participation at all times. And what labor force participation means is that Black women are working. And if they're not working, they are looking for work, right? Black women have the highest labor force participation of all women in this country. And that's traditionally just been the deal. But Black women's unemployment has risen to 6%. That's twice white women, twice Asian women. And you got to think about it. Black women also make up 12% of the federal labor force. That's of all federal jobs, Black women make up a huge percentage of that. And so it's not just really about, to me, and this is one of the things that I think you gotta like dig one step deeper in the data and put a little history behind it, is that for Black families, it's not just we always talk about a good government job in my household, like our family members that had that good government job. But what that good government job would basically do, that good government job guarantees you that you're going to probably have a pension, which means that your kids don't have to take care of you when you get old. You can take care of yourself. That means that they can actually spend their money on the next generation and not spend more money on 3 generations. They can spend it on 2. It also meant that you were much more likely to be a homeowner, meaning that you had wealth creation, right? If you had that good government job, it also meant that you probably had healthcare. We're going to live longer and live a better life because you had consistent healthcare and you had some of the best healthcare that money could buy, right? The thing about it that for Black families is that when you see these job losses in the federal government, these Black folks being pushed out of the federal government, Karen, it is the dismantling of one of, I would say, the few engines of economic and upward mobility for Black folks that has ever been consistently equitable. And what I say is, like, has there been some racism in federal work? Absolutely. But one of the people, Jesse Jackson, said this one time, and it blew my mind. And he was like, Black folks aren't good at sports just because we are necessarily physically greater than everybody else. We're good at sports just because everybody is watching. That the rules are the same, the consequences are the same, and everybody's watching. So there's accountability in it. It's part of why we're so good at this is that we're measured and judged fairly, right? It's that it's transparent. There's an umpire, there's a referee, and there's the whole crowd is watching. So you can't get one over. You can't sneak one in the back room on a decision that's being made because it's happening in real time. That's one of the reasons why federal work works for us. Is because the pay bands are transparent. You got to have it transparent that everybody knows what it gets to get that promotion, right? And so if you dismantle if you dismantle that economic engine for Black economic growth, for Black economic wealth creation, it also is particularly interesting that Black women are disproportionately impacted when, if you look at the data, Black women 90 at the 90 percentile voted against the current administration.
92%, yes.
Not Black folks, but Black women in particular know
Correct.
what's up.
So here's my question. They know what they're doing. This is not a coincidence.
It's not a coincidence.
So what's the ultimate goal, Drew McCaskill? To display, because I remember, again, I'm talking to Tiffany Aliche. She said, I purposely, she taught preschool kids in Newark, New Jersey, and when she lost her job, she decided to teach their parents, the women, because she said if I teach the women in my community how to manage their money, how to budget, how to invest, I impact the whole community.
Yeah,
because they're the ones raising the children and making these decisions, and corporate America knows that too, which is why
100%.
we have soap operas. They target women because women make the decisions, even if they don't have the buying power, even if they didn't have the money or the ability to have credit cards in the 70s or the ability to sign contracts or whatever. They made the decisions to buy the refrigerators and the washing machines and the vacuum cleaners. That's why they had traveling salesmen back in the 50s and 40s, because they would come to the women because they made those decisions. This seems very willful, the targeting of Black women.
Yeah.
And you're right. What's the end game?
I think the end game is one to have I think the end game part of it is punishment, right? I think part of the end game is to have Black folks, particularly Black women, so distracted, so distracted and scrambling that they can't organize, that they can't be as loud and productive and efficient and effective as they have been, right? It's hard to be focused when your money ain't right. I think that's just the thing. But it also serves to completely rattle Black economic and political power. If Black women become disillusioned and or start to drop out of the process, the bottom falls out for the Black community, right? It just does. And I think that what people have seen is that, okay, it's much easier to distract, I think, and disillusion Black men than it is Black women. This is my supposition. Like, at me if you disagree, but Black women are harder. It's harder to do that. And I feel like we got to watch this space, Karen, because Black unemployment is climbing. And I said this the other day, that my dad always said that when America gets cold, Black folks get the flu. But when it comes to Black unemployment, everybody who's listening to this needs to understand that we're not just talking about Black folks. We're talking about the American economy, that we have seen traditionally over and over again. When Black unemployment gets close to double digits, that a recession and economic downturns are just a moment away for the entire country.
And they want that, actually.
Black unemployment is the canary in the coal mine for recession in this country. It has been traditional. I think
this administration wants that to happen, because then the market drops, then they get to gobble up, so the billionaires become even richer, because the billionaires got richer during COVID when things were down. So it's like you get the bargain basement stocks, take over companies, and then it's going to bounce back. May take a little longer, but you now get
and they can afford to hold on to stock longer. They got blood. If you're a billionaire, you got a lot of blood in the water money. You got $1 million that $1 million cash. You can lose $3 or $4 million in the stock market. Take $1 million cash, drop it into something while a stock is cheap and low, and then you wait it out, and then you are $10 million richer on the back end. You got to think about it too. These CEOs are bragging about layoffs as efficiency claims in the marketplace now. CEOs at major U.S. companies, literally, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Verizon, and cutting jobs may look efficient, but it cuts into brand equity. And look, layoffs are not a trophy. They're a risk. We need to stop rewarding this behavior from like these CEOs and these companies that are talking about, oh, we laid off 300,000 people. We laid off 200,000 employees. 200,000, 300,000.
That's crazy.
Part of the issue that scares me about Black women's unemployment in these federal jobs in particular, Karen, is the fact that we have not seen any evidence so far that the private sector has the ability to absorb
them up.
This
They're not. They know they can't. And the worst thing is, it didn't save any money.
Oh, no.
Matter of fact, we're going to be spending more money. And that's toxic. I mean, we're already funding the Rose Garden being concreted over. We're funding to the tune of like $20-30 million to have gold put in the White House everywhere. Turn that into it's going to be so ugly, but that's neither here nor there. What I didn't sign up for it. Did you sign up for your tax dollars going to renovating or remodeling the White House?
No.
That was not an expense that we need. People need to eat. People need housing.
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will